I wanna be the very best, like no one ever. No. Hey guys, I have a battle with Green here today for you guys, and he's going to lead with a Swampert. I'm going to lead with a Gengar. So let's get the show on the road. This is my counter and Destiny Bond lead Gengar, and but I don't think that Swampert will attack me physically right off the bat, so I go for the Shadow Ball. I actually thought he'd set up the Stealth Rocks, but instead he goes out into a Raichu, and I'm able to 2-hit KO Raichu with Shadow Ball, so that wasn't too good for him right off the bat. So he goes out into a Scizor, and I was hoping this was a Choice Band Scizor, so I go for the counter, but now he knows I have it, which kind of sucks for me. I'm going to try to go for it again, just in case, but he does decide to go back into Swampert, so I just go for the Shadow Ball, predicting the Stealth Rocks. And he does set up the Stealth Rocks, and I'm just going to go for the counter now, but he actually goes for the Hydro Pump. Kind of annoying that he has it. I guess this isn't a physical Swampert like I would have liked. However, I'm still able to just hit it with Shadow Ball since his first Hydro Pump missed. So he goes for the second Hydro Pump. That's going to not quite hit me down on my sash. It'll hit me like to low yellow, and that's pretty much enough for him. I go for the Shadow Ball again, hoping to KO the Swampert, but instead he goes out into this Snorlax, which obviously is immune to Ghost. So I go for the Focus Blast because it's super effective. I actually thought he might, Curse this turn, so I didn't go for the Destiny Bond. But he doesn't, and that kind of sucks. But to be honest, my lead Gengar still put a huge dent in his team, especially considering I didn't use Counter or Destiny Bond, which was like the point of it. So I go out into Swampert of my own to set up Stealth Rocks, and he Toxics me, which I was not expecting. Apparently this is a Toxic Stalling Snorlax, which is something that I think I've never seen before. So he goes for the Body Slam just to get damage on me. I'm going to go for the Roar, and I roar him out back into Scizor, and I'm just going to go for the Earthquake because I just want to get much damage as possible on this Scizor before Swampert goes down, because really a poisoned Swampert is of no use to me. He goes for the X Scizor. That's going to do some respectable damage, going to pretty much speed up the poisoning process. I go for the Earthquake, and that does a respectable chunk to Scizor, and really he's just going to Poison Stall me here, go out into Gliscor predicting my Earthquake. I fall for it, and that kind of sucks because Swampert is going to be taken down to the poison damage, so that's not too good. I don't really need Swampert right now anyway, but it's still kind of annoying to lose him to Toxic Stalling. But good play, good play. So I go out into Vaporeon because, obviously a Water type is good against Gliscor. So I decided to go for the Toxic, and I actually was hoping he'd go into this Snorlax, because most Snorlaxes have thick fat, but this one actually has immunity, which really sucks, because I did go for the Toxic, and I was hoping to get the Toxic off on something. Actually, I was hoping for the Snorlax, so I could Toxic Stall the Toxic Stalling Snorlax. But I go out into Metagross fearing the Toxic, and he just Body Slams, which is just as good for me, really, because Body Slam doesn't do anything after the resistance. And really, I'm just going to go for the Meteor Mash. I would have gone for the Agility, but I thought he might go into something that I'd have to switch out against anyway, like Gliscor. So he ends up going on to Zapdos, so I end up getting the Meteor Mash off on that. And I get the attack boost, not that it really matters, because I have to switch, because I really don't want to stay in for a Heat Wave. He goes for a Roost, so it's probably a good thing I switched. I could have predicted the Roost and Earthquake, but it really just wasn't worth it. I go out in a Rhyperior, and finally this Rhyperior does something. He does switch, which he probably should, because he doesn't really have anything to hurt Rhyperior. And I get the Rock Polish, and at this health, I know I can KO with Earthquake, with Life Orb. Because it's stabbed, I have Life Orb, and Rhyperior has some pretty awesome attack. So I go for the Earthquake, take down the Swampert, and, this is the first time that Rhyperior has really done anything. He goes out in a Scizor, but, after the, what's my ability called? Solid Rock, that boosts my immunity to super effective moves. Bullet Punch only does about half, so I'm able to take down the Scizor too. And he goes out into Gliscor, and I know I can't one-hit KO this thing, but really this Rhyperior did something finally. He finally did what, he's supposed to do, and that's just take out a bunch of things and dent stuff. I was able to take out two Pokemon that were just problems, which was Swampert and Scizor, and I was able to put a huge dent into his Gliscor, which really helped. Anyway, I go out into Vaporeon pretty much to go for the Surf, and he's going to predict the obvious Surf and go out into Snorlax, but at least I get a Surf off on that. I mean, it's going to do decent damage because of the stab, but not too great. But here he just completely overpredicts me, and I really thought it might have cost me the game for a minute. So I got into Metagross, right? And he actually predicts the switch into Metagross, which was amazing for him. Great prediction. He goes out into Zapdos. And this is obviously really bad because I don't want to get Heat Waved on Metagross. So I kind of have to play this tricky. I go out into Vaporeon to take the Heat Wave, because obviously Vaporeon can take a Heat Wave, but not a Thunderbolt. He doesn't know my last guy, and my last guy is Shaman. So, first things first, I decided to go for the Protect here to get, like, Leftovers recovery back, just because I can, and, you know, Leftovers recovery is a good thing. So I switch now into Shaman, and I knew he wouldn't expect it because I haven't shut it off yet. So he goes for the Thunderbolt, and obviously Shaman resists it, which is pretty awesome for me. And after his Life Orb damage, I thought that maybe Hidden Power Fire could kill it if he hits, Hidden Power Fire plus Life Orb damage. But unfortunately, he goes for the Roost, and now I'm thinking, crap, my plan has backfired, I'm probably going to lose. I decided to set up the Leech Seed, pretty much, so I can at least hurt this thing somewhat after he kills my Shaman, because I thought he'd go for the Heat Wave. But instead, he goes for the Agility, and then he predicts my switch into Vaporeon and goes Thunderbolt, which is really horrible for him, because I go for the Seed Flare, and the Life Orb plus Seed Flare plus the Leech Seed is going to take out his Zapdos, and I'm like, thank God, because that was really the last thing I feared on his team. All he has left now is Gliscor and Snorlax, all of which I have counters for. He goes out into Snorlax, I just go for the rest because I really need health back on Shaman, and because Shaman has Natural Cure, I could always switch it back in and it wouldn't be asleep anymore. So I decide to rest, and the Natural Cure cures me completely after I switch out. And, yeah, so he's going to crunch me, predicting my switch into Metagross, but doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go for the Meteor Mash. He's going to kind of try to get Leftovers recover with Protect here, but it's really not going to do anything because, well, I don't know, I'm just going to keep going for the Meteor Mash. I actually really thought that I'd be able to kill the Gliscor with a Stealth Rock hit and a Meteor Mash, but apparently his Gliscor is able to survive just barely from the Meteor Mash, which kind of sucks. And obviously I have to switch because I don't want to get Earthquaked on Metagross, since Metagross is really the only way I'm going to be able to take out the Snorlax. So I go back into Vaporeon, and he roosts, so that was a pretty cool prediction for him. But I'm just going to go for the Surf. I figure if he goes out into Snorlax, it's probably a 2-hit KO at this point anyway. So I decide just to go for the Surf. And he tried to get off a sweep and go for the Swords Dance, but I didn't let him. I just went for the Surf. And that's super effective, going to take out the Gliscor. And all he has left is Snorlax, and at this point he knows he can't possibly win, so he decides just to run. So, good game, Green. A lot of fun. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Hope to see you guys next time, and peace, dudes. Bye. Alright, guys, question for you today. Macs or PCs? As for me, I'm TheKillerNacho, and I'm a PC.